Okay, so good evening once again, everyone. This is Adinike Babalola, and today we're focusing on the IELTS writing. Okay, we have covered five, we've had 5 sessions so far, and this is session 6. And we're going to be focusing on one component of the IELTS test, which is the IELTS writing. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen so that you know what it looks like. Okay, let me just do that right away so that you can see what it looks like. So I believe, Chimamaka, that your goal is to be able to get the band score that you need, and that band score is 7 if possible. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen so that you can see what I'm showing you. Okay, so can somebody confirm to me that you can see my screen? I'm not sure yet because it's not even showing to me that you can see my screen. Okay, yeah, so I believe you should see my screen now. If you can see my screen, just type screen or scene or something. Just let me know that you can see my screen. It's been raining here, since morning, and it's getting heavier again, but I hope that we would this thing is back and forth. Okay, you see my screen. Thank you. Good. So this is what the IELTS writing test looks like for those who are taking general training module. In the IELTS test, we have 2 modules. The exam is divided into 2 versions. The first version is for those who want to work or who want to, migrate to other countries. For example, take the general training model. And so in their test, this is what the writing session looks like. The writing component looks like. For task 1, you write a letter. It could be a formal letter or informal letter or semi-formal letter. Then when you get to task 2 rather, you have an essay, okay, that looks like this. You have a question that looks like this. But of course, these are just 2 examples. But for somebody like Chimamaka now, who needs this because I believe you're a nurse, right? So, people in the medical profession that require, registration when they get to new countries, actually, so probably like the UK, for example, they need to take the academic, test. Okay, so I should zoom my screen. Thank you for letting me know that. Thank you. Yeah, I know that can be a problem. Is better? Can you confirm that this is better, please? Can you confirm that this is better? Chimamaka is here and Adebukola is yes, a nurse. Very good. So this is the task 2 for task 2 for general training. Now I'm going to go. I'm going to show you the question, what the question looks like for people who take the academic model. So Chimamaka, this is what your question will look like. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll you what we have for this is task 2. I want to show you what we have for task 1. But because it's a long page, I'm just going to zoom it in carefully. Yeah, okay, I'm back. Okay, so if you're taking the academic model, this is what it's going to look like. The test would look like this. You have a question like this, with a question in the box, and then you could be given a chart, or this is a line graph. Now you have 2 line graphs actually. So they give you this line graphs for you to compare the Okay, so sorry, let me come back. So I hope you can hear me. I know Chimamaka. Okay, my network is gone again. Okay, okay, so I see that you're typing something, Chimamaka. So I'm just going to continue. So this is one. Okay, so let's see how well this night, let's see how this night will be, because exactly, that prayer is very important. God needs to arrest the network issues, because you really need this, okay? So please keep your prayers up so that we can, we can get the best of this time, so that we don't have to keep redoing our sessions and redoing them. So I was trying to show you that for people who are taking the academic model, you would have something like this. You can have a line graph or a bar chart or a table or a pie chart and all of that. So I'm going to go through this book. Chimamaka, you are taking the academic model. I'm going to go through this book. This is test 1. Okay, so this is the first question. I'm using the Cambridge IELTS Test book 16. These are like past questions. The books have past questions, and this is book 16. It was produced last year, and one is book 17, but I do not have that yet. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down again so that you see what another kind of question would look like. Okay, so let me just sorry. So I'm scrolling down. Give me a minute. You see another kind of question, just to be sure that am I still, let me see. Okay, this is listening. So let me go back. So the idea is you can tell the difference between the academic model and the general training model. I said for general training, the task 1 is a letter, but for academic, the task 1 is something like this. Okay, so you can see that in the previous test, what I showed you had 2 line graphs. But this time around, from the information in the box and from what you can see, they gave us a diagram that has processes, stages, because you can see numbering. You see number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, you see 4, you see 5, you see 6, you see 7, So this is a diagram, okay? So let me scroll down to is the essay. So I'm going to test 3, so you can see what is in test 3 as well, okay? Just for you to be sure, okay? So this time around, the question says that there are plans, okay? Plans. Now, you remember that the first test, I showed you 2 line graphs. The second one, you saw a diagram with about 7 steps. And then this is the third test, and this is the Southwest Airport. So there are actually 2 plans here. You see that what you have here is smaller than what you have here. So obviously, the airport was expanded to have more things. What they really want you to do is to explain, just pick out some things that are, highlighted and talk about them. Okay, so I see that Olumide has joined us. I see that Blessing has joined us as well. Thank you so much. Good evening. Okay, so this is task 1, but task 2 is always an essay. Okay, it's just that the question types could change. Now I'm showing you these things first so that you know what it looks like. So for people who probably want to study, in English-speaking countries, or who want to, practice, their practice medicine or work as health workers and everything, that this is what yours is going to look like. Your own writing task will look like. Now this is the final test in the academic book, and you see that it is another diagram that shows how plastic bottles are recycled. Okay, you see how plastic bottles are recycled. You can see the numberings. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it's longer. It goes all the way down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In short, you can have different kinds of questions. People who have my ebooks know that you can have these questions in about 10 forms. Okay, it could be a pie chart or a table, a line graph, or plans or maps or processes, or a combination of all of them. In short, you have a total of 10 ways in which task 1 can be asked. That's for general for academic. Now I want to show you what you have in general training. You know that I said for task 1 in general training, it is usually letter writing. Okay, it's usually letter writing. So you find that this first letter now, in this case, this is because it has the person's name. Excuse me, because it has the person's name in the salutation, it's a semi-formal letter. If you read the question closely, you will know what it entails. Okay, and then task 2 is now an essay. We're going to take them. We're going to pick specific questions that we're going to focus on. But I just want to show you this. This is like an overview of everything. Okay, so let's go to test 2 to see what question they gave in test 2. And before we, go into the practical aspect, I'm going to take a few minutes to show you some other things. Okay, so this is test 2, and this is the question in test 2. Sorry, I don't know why my screen. Okay, so if you read the question in here, the reason I'm not reading is because I want to maximize time. But merely looking at the salutation here, you can tell what a question type is. Once you see dear sir or madam, you know it is a formal letter. But the other one that adds dear Mrs. Barrett, you know that it is in semi-formal letters that you use people's titles and their names in. And then if it is, that's in the salutation rather. And if it is, an informal letter, IELTS Test will just give you blanks. Let's continue so you can see it. They will just give you dear blank, blank, blank. Just that's the ellipsis. Okay, so once you see that, you know that the question is automatically an informal letter. Okay, so let me scroll back up so you can see the question we have here. Okay, so this one also has dear sir or madam. So you know this is a formal letter. Okay, now let's go to the final one in test 4. And then you would see what we have there. That one is most likely going to be an informal letter. Okay, so you see this one has the dear ellipsis. It's all ellipsis here. So you know that you are writing to maybe a friend. Okay, it's even there in the letter, an email to your friend. So you see that for task 1, in general training, you'll be writing a letter, whether it's formal or informal or semi-formal. Okay, I need to be sure that you can see my screen though. Let me just see. Let me be sure. Please, can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen? Can somebody confirm? Can somebody confirm that you can see my screen? Please just let me know if you can see my screen so that we can just proceed. Sorry. Okay, you can see my screen, Chimamaka. Thank you. Good. So that's it. You know what the question types are. You know what they look like. But the real deal is Chimamaka wants 7. Is there anybody else here that needs the IELTS test and knows the band score that they need? Who else knows the score? It was off. Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized my network, oh, sorry. You can hear me now. I believe you can hear me now. I was trying to confirm that you can see my screen. Can you hear me now? Can you confirm that you can hear me now? Okay. Can you confirm that you can hear me now and you can see my screen? Very good, thank you. I was trying to say that I'm showing you my result. This is the second IELTS test that I took. I took my first one in 2017 and I took this one in 2021. And for the writing, you can see 7.5 in this box. Okay, so if you have ever heard that the IELTS writing is difficult, I've been taking the test, somebody says I've been taking the test repeatedly and I'm still getting band 6 or getting band 6.5 and all of that. This is my results. Okay, I have 7.5 in writing. Chimamaka, you need 7. This is very possible for you. You can have 7.5. But I'm not going to stop here. Okay? I'm not going to stop here. I want to show you something else. Now, I told you this is the second test that I took last year, right? This is my second IELTS test. Now, I want to show you the very first one. The second one I took was general training. Okay, so that's 7.5 in general training. But this is academic. The first one I took when I wanted to, I got admission to University of Glasgow in Scotland when I thought I was going to leave Nigeria, but I never left. Okay, in that first one I had 7. Okay, so you see that I have shown you the difference between the two tests. Whether if you're taking academic, you are doing something like a report for task 1. For task 2, you know that you are writing an essay. Please, I just need to confirm that I am still recording. Let me do that quickly. I just need to confirm that I am still recording. Okay, I'm still recording. Very good. Okay, so for the first 7.5, but I'm not going to show you just my results and stop. I want to show you other people's results so you know what is possible in the IELTS writing. Okay, because when I try to encourage people and say, hey, it's not that difficult, it's not that, I've had people tell me, these people say different things just based on what they've heard people tell them. Now I'm going to show you the results of 3 people right now, and you are going to tell the difference for yourself. Okay, so this is a chat that I had with one of those who took my training. He took my course, he worked with my ebooks and everything, and just this evening, I asked him to send me his results because he had told me the result before, but I had not displayed it anywhere, and I asked him for the results this evening, and he said, I've been waiting for you to show off my results one day. Your materials helped a whole lot, especially with the writing part. Like I said, it was almost mathematical. That is what that doctor said, right? Now I want to show you his results. I want to show you his results. Please look at it from the top. This is IELTS General Training. You can see his name. You can see that I took this test on Saturday, July 23rd. His result was released, I think, second week of August. Or was it maybe, yeah, about first or second week. Now, can you see his writing? Can you see what he had in the writing? If you can see the score he had for writing, please just, type it into the group. If you can see the score, that he had, Chimamaka, you can see the score, please let me know. Victoria, good evening. If you can see the score that this person had you can see 8.5. Chimamaka, you need just ordinary 7, right? You need just 7, but this is somebody that had 8.5. Why am I bothering to show you? Thank you, Adebukola. Why am I bothering to show you this? Honestly, the IELTS writing is not as difficult as many people state. All you need is to know what is expected of you and do it. Know what examiners mark, know what they are looking for, and give it to them. For this person to have told me that my materials, my ebooks were almost mathematical, it means that I took the time to detail out what people need so that you know how to write. You tap from his grace, awesome. Okay, but beyond that, there's some work involved, right? And so this person had 8.5, but that's not all that I want to show you. I want to show you this lady. She sent me a result last Friday. You can see that she took her test on the 3rd of September. And then can you see her results? When she saw this result, she was so happy because it was exactly what she needed. She needed just 6.5 in writing and the other ones were perfect. So she was so grateful. She was so happy because she said it is exactly what I need. So just as I said that there are different requirements. Chimamaka needs exactly 7. Most nurses, except somebody was telling me that NMC intends to review the scores and everything, but everybody has the requirements. Universities, there are places where you need just 5.5. There are places where you need just 6. There are places where you need 6.5 or 7. I think for doctors, you should not have less than 7 in any skill, in any component, but your overall should be 7.5. So for somebody like this that had exactly what she needed, this result is perfect. Okay, but I want to show you another one as well. Okay, there's one more result that I need to show you, and I'm going to say something. If you look closely at this, you will see read your EOR outcome letter. So this result is a bit different. So this is somebody who joined my training earlier this year. He took the test and everything. Everything was perfect. I think he's in the UK. Everything was perfect. And then, when I say training, I have a paid training that people take from my IELTS Test, okay? So, but this particular thing we are doing now is just me doing free sessions on IELTS Test, on Fiverr, and on, Seller. When he took that test, then his listening score was low. I think his listening score was 6.5. So he took the test again so that he could fix the listening. But of course, he fixed the listening and listening became 8. But the writing, which was previously 7, dropped to 6. This conversation, this thing I'm telling you happened last week. His listening moved from 6.5 to 8. And his writing dropped from 7 to 6. What you are seeing now is 6.5, but I'm about to explain it to you. So when he, sent it to me immediately, I felt, wow, let's remark it. There's a way you can remark your result. So that, those results I showed you, I showed you my results where I had 7 in one, I had 7.5 in other. The one where I had 7.5, I remarked it because it came at 7, and I knew that I cannot have it, and it came back at 7.5. And I said, okay, let it be. Right? Now, this young man decided, I suggested that he remark his test, the writing, with the hope that it would move to 7. I'm going to explain the implication. Sorry. Okay, so I believe you can hear me now. It went off for some seconds. So we decided to remark with the hope that 6 will become 7. It's very on the remark. Okay, but they remarked this for this guy and it moved from 6 to 6.5. But this result, unfortunately, is still useless. Did you hear that? This result with an overall score of 8 is still useless. Let me explain to you. He wants to use it for Canada. He told me that this result like this gives him 414. But once this writing can move to 7, it will have 472. Can somebody tell me the difference between 414 and 472? If I know my maths, that should be 58. Did I get it? I did not get it though. I think I got it, right? 5 plus 1. In short, what I'm trying to say is a single 0.5 on this writing would give that guy over 50 points for Canada Express entry. Why am I taking the time to show? The guy was sad. I had encouraged him and I didn't have anything else to say because I didn't know what to say. Why did I take my time to show you this? I showed you the very excellent result, but then I came to show you the implication of not getting a good band score in writing. So you see that the IELTS writing, in as much as I am trying to show you that it is simple and everything, it's just something you cannot mess with. Don't mess with it. A lot of people have messed with the IELTS writing because they see it as it's just writing, it's just English. Apart from that, some people have problems with handwriting. If you have problems with handwriting, don't take the test that is on paper. Take the one that is on computer so that you will type. Another person sent me a result to my Instagram, DM yesterday. I didn't remember to screenshot that to share here. She had 7 in listening, 7 in reading, 7.5 in writing, in speaking, but writing was 6.5. points, was 6, I think. And so she told me that because there was no available date for her to take the one on paper, she had to take the one on computer, but she knows that she's bad at typing. She's slow at typing. So she felt she was disorganized. She just didn't feel okay. And honestly, I also cannot take my test on computer. Not because I'm not good, but when I'm holding a pen over paper. That's me. Maybe I'm a traditionalist, or I don't know what you call people like me. But the point is, I prefer the test on paper to the test on computer. I know that I don't see things, or I do this oversight thing when I type. I would think the thing is so perfect, and years later I will find, when you take the computer-based test, the system will not correct anything for you. It is a test. So, autocorrect will not work. Why am I taking this, why am I going through this angle with you? I want you to know the things that are important as far as writing is concerned before we even go in. Number one, I have made the point that writing is not as difficult as you might have heard. Number two, it's really possible to have excellent results. You saw my results. In one of them, I had 7. That's in academic, I had 7. In general training, I had 7.5. Okay? And then I showed you the person that had 8.5. And I've had many more people who have taken my paid training that have had, 8 in writing, 8 and 8 and 8. A lot of people, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, that combination. But this person now, we don't know what he's messing with is. Okay? So why am I, telling you all of this? Please don't treat any aspect of the IELTS test with levity. Don't assume that you are good at any part. Somebody told me that he's retaking the test because he focused on some parts and he did not focus on some. And the thing with IELTS result is, once one is lower than, the entire result becomes useless. You can't retake just one part of the test. You need to pay that 83,000 naira again. The test is 83,000 naira. If you are taking UKVI, it's 9,500. If you are taking the life skills, it's another, price. I can't remember. But why did I show you this? Not to scare you, but to show you that it is important to treat the IELTS test like, it really matters, so that you don't have to keep retaking. Imagine someone telling me she has taken it 4 times, she's tired, she's exhausted, and I just said, go and rest, just relax. Now, I talked about ebooks. I already talked about my ebooks that really help my materials and everything. Now, I want to show you those ebooks quickly. I sell these ebooks to people that are taking my training. But right here in this group, if you are in this Telegram group right now, if you go to the PDF area of this group, you will find this ebook there. You'll find 2 ebooks, actually, my essay ebook and my English ebook. I chose to make them available for this group so that anybody who is learning here can access them and begin to use them. So if you have not searched through this group before, please do that now. When you join, I believe that when we join groups, just scan through the group, so long as there's no padlock anywhere. Scan through everywhere, take everything you can take and go and use it. Nobody needs to come and tell you what you need. So long as the group was created and things have been made available, then it means it is for you. This is the ebook that people have continued to. You're welcome, Chimamaka. This is the ebook that doctor said is mathematical, and I helped him to get 8.5. Now, I told you, I hope that we are learning, because I'm teaching you, but I'm not following a linear method to teaching. I'm allowing you to draw out what you want to draw as we proceed. Now, I'm starting with the essay, the essay aspect, which is task 2. In the IELTS Writing Task 2, there are 5 types of questions. Let me deviate. Somebody called me this morning. Today is Monday, right? The person called me before 8 a.m. this morning, and he said, I'm sorry for calling you this early, but I have a question. Can you tell me the difference between to what extent do you agree or not agree? And the guy did not even know the questions typed properly, and he just wanted to ask me something. And I said, see, I have videos on YouTube. Okay, my YouTube channel, my name is Adenike Babalola. So if there's anybody that urgently needs to grab stuff, I have about 60 videos or more on IELTS on my YouTube channel, because I started there at the end of 2020, before I now created my course last year in 2021. Okay, so there are a lot of things on YouTube, but of course there is no structure. They are only in playlists. I told the guy, please go on YouTube and you'll find several videos. If you open my Writing Task 2 playlist, you'll find more than 10 videos there on different question types. Go and watch them. He said I should send him the links. I said, I'm sorry, I have to take care of my family still to 8. And so, he said he would send messages on WhatsApp. And later on, I sent him. He had even found the videos already. He was watching them, but he still had the same question. Tell me the difference between this question and that question. Excuse me, there are 5 types of essays. It's not possible for me in one phone call to explain the 5 of them to you. And that was why I said, see, I have an ebook where I actually did what you are asking me. Because of the high demand for evaluation last year, people kept, sending me, Adenike, will you evaluate my essay? That was particularly what people wanted from me. And I can tell you that till tomorrow, people still ask me, Adenike, can I send you my essay to evaluate? Can I send you? And I say, no, I don't. That was why I created this ebook, to show people the recipe for writing essays. Now, I have 2 other ebooks on task 1 for letter writing, which is general training, and task 1 for academic, which is report writing, task 1. Okay. Now, what am I saying? The idea of this ebook, if you have this ebook, if you're taking my training and you have this ebook, that doctor that said the book is mathematical and he had 8.5, I wish that you would grab this ebook with all your heart. There's somebody else in my training Telegram group who is in Canada now, who said that ebook was what helped her. I think she had 18 writing or so. That was what helped her. So when I talk about this, the point is for you to know that you have what you need. So those of you in this group right now, even though you did not pay for this resource, I have provided it. Go to the media area of this group, you will find it there. Now, I was trying to tell you that there are 5 types of essays. There is the opinion essay, there is the discussion essay, there is the direct or double question essay question, yeah. There is the advantages and disadvantages essay, and there is, we have problems and solutions essay. These are the 5 main types of essays. However, under the opinion essay, you can now have the question asked in 8 different forms. I'm using this book to teach you, even though it is, a prized resource. I'm using it to teach you so that you can, begin to process it. Okay, so if you want the other ebooks, they are also in the group. I think if you check the media area of this group, I have provided them already because those other 2 are free. I decided to make these ones free as well for those in this group, just for the sake of this free training season. This is a season for whoever is happening to enjoy it. Okay, I know that it won't last forever, but then, just enjoy it. Now, I'm going to show you what I was saying about the opinion essay. There are 8 ways in which the examiner can ask you a question that is an opinion essay. The question can say, what is your view? It is an opinion essay. What is your opinion? It's an opinion essay. Do you agree? It's an opinion essay. Do you agree or disagree? It's an opinion essay. To what extent do you agree or disagree? It's an opinion essay. In your opinion, is it important or not? It's an opinion essay. Is this a positive development or not? It is an opinion essay. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? It is an opinion essay. If you go on my YouTube channel right now, you'll find an example for number 5 and number 8. I can't remember others, if there are examples for others. Okay, that's if you don't have this ebook now, or I don't know, for some reason you're not able to access it, you can go and watch me teach these videos, these questions there on my YouTube channel. Just search for Adenike Babalola. Okay, that's it. So what did I do? Did I just tell you the types? No, I decided to explain, and I explained each question type and what is required. Then I chose 3 of those question types and I explained them in this ebook one by one. I picked questions that will show you, like, look at this question. Government should spend, it is from a Cambridge IELTS book, so you know that what I'm saying is valid. Government should spend money on railways rather than roads. To what extent do you agree with this statement? Now, did you see the question? To what extent do you agree with this statement? This is a version of to what extent do you agree or disagree question. It's a version of it. Okay? Now, the thing with IELTS is, even though this is from book 11, I've seen that some of their questions seem to change form, but once you recognize it, you know what it is. Now, I answered some of these questions within this essay ebook, this ebook, right? Now, another, question type is, some people say that in all levels of education, from primary schools to universities, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough on learning practical skills. Do you agree or disagree? It's an opinion essay as well. Okay, in short, in this ebook, there are several, everything is broken down. Everything is broken down. But more than that, I now took one question. You can see this particular question. I talked about how the question is explained, how the introduction is written, how you write your introduction. You should paraphrase the question. Somebody asked me a question. She joined my training last week, and she asked me a question over the weekend. I think she put it on YouTube first, but she probably saw I wasn't available. So she put it on my WhatsApp and said, she saw that some people say that you should write a general statement before you paraphrase the question. Ladenike, what is your view on this? I said, see, I have never seen where examiners wrote a general statement before writing the question, before paraphrasing the question. And so I have never taught it. What I have seen examiners do at their own expert level is they paraphrase the question and instantly combine it with their points right away. But what I have even been teaching people is paraphrase first, then state your points in summary in that same introduction. You can see that we did it here. You see, if you are looking at this paragraph here, you see spending financial resources on railways instead of roads is considered a necessity for governments around the world. That is your paraphrase of that question. Now, the sentence that now has your points is, in my opinion, I partially disagree with this statement, as trains are faster and environmentally friendly in comparison to vehicles, but some prefer roads since they can drive themselves rather than depending on other drivers. I have combined the points that I'm going to use to disagree and the points that I would use to agree in here. Now, this particular question type, the to what extent do you agree or disagree question type is a bit complex because people, feel, should I agree alone? Should I disagree alone? Or what do I do? And when the question says, to what extent agree or disagree, I tell people, based on what I learned from examiners, you cannot agree alone and go. You cannot disagree alone and go. You would need to tilt a lot to one angle and tilt a little to the other angle. So if the question says, to what extent do you agree that government should spend money on railways rather than roads? What you ask yourself is, thinking about it, what points are in my head right now? Look at the points that are coming to you. Really, really, really. Should government spend on railways or roads? Think about your Nigeria. And I tell people the best way to understand writing or the best way to come up with points is to put the question into context in the world that you know. This is your Nigerian world now. Should the Nigerian government be spending on railways instead of roads? As far as you and I are concerned, you will say no, because we know that bandits will go and kill people on railway. Allow me to generalize right now. Even though we know that railway should be the way of the future, well, it's no longer the future step, it's the past. Because it should be, we know the population of our country and how, public transit can be difficult. So ideally, the answer to this should be yes, they should spend on railroads. But if you can picture it in your Nigerian sense, your point will immediately come. You know that you have the point of insecurity. And of course, don't be having insecurity on roads as well. But in short, what you are doing is you are helping your brain to understand the question. As soon as your brain can understand the question, it will begin to give you points. Now, what you now ask yourself is, okay, once I choose to partially, in short, I need to make a decision. Am I going to partially agree with the statement or partially disagree? And remember that I said that you cannot strongly agree or strongly disagree because it means that you are going 100%. But you cannot take questions like this 100%. You can't go 100%. You need to have like a 70-30 or a 65-35 where you have two things in one box and one in another box. Now, as you can see here, for this question now, I chose to partially disagree. When you partially disagree, that partially disagree means that you are going to have one disagree. And I'm saying this for you to treat it like a formula. It will make your life easy. This particular question type that I'm dwelling on tonight is one question that a lot of people more or less take hammers and continue to eat their head over the question. And that's why it is one of the top performing videos I have on YouTube, because people everywhere complain about that question type. To what extent do you agree or disagree? To what extent do you... It is one very complicated question. But if you know the formula, just tell yourself, Adenike, when I see a question like this, I refuse to strongly agree or strongly... Okay, my network is messing up. Am I back? Please, if you can still hear me and if you can still see my screen, please let me know. If you can still, if you can still hear me and you can still see my screen, please just tell me you are here. Let me know that you are here. Let me know that you are here. Okay, you are here. You can hear me loud and clear. Thank you, Milade. Good to see you. Thank you. Okay, so I am dwelling on this question type because, and of course, I'm going to, shift. I'm going to move away from here after a while. But this is just to show you. I know I said that I would put you on the road to answering these questions. In other sessions, we're probably going to write complete essays, okay? But there's no point doing practical if we've not done a bit of theory. But I'm explaining with a factual question. When you have to what extent do you agree or disagree questions, just tell yourself, there are only two things I can do. I can either choose to partially agree or partially disagree. Now, as soon as you place that partially in front of agree or disagree, just know that the thing that you place that partially, with is going to take us 1 point. So when you partially disagree, it means you're going to defend that position with 1 point for disagree and 2 points for agree, which is what we did here. Okay? If you are going to agree to partially agree, it means that you will have 1 point for agree and 2 points for disagree. Okay, so when you have questions like this, you need to be careful about, the place, the thoughts that you have, the angle that you want to use to answer the question. But remember the formula. I would need just 1 point to agree, and then 1 point to agree in the first paragraph. You build that point. You go to the next paragraph. You bring your second point to agree. You defend it. You see, I'm scrolling through the ebook. You see the ebook in the if you have it, you have it. If you have it, if you're in this group, you can view it here in the media. You take the second point for your agree. You build it as well. Then you go to the point that you want to use to disagree, and then you talk about it. Okay. So when you partially disagree, you are saying, I don't agree so much. Okay, when you partially disagree, I don't disagree so much. I disagree a little. I agree a lot. Okay, but when you partially agree, you say I agree a little, but I disagree more. Now, I'm choosing to use this question because it can be a bit stretchy for people, but I don't want to dwell on it. Okay, now that's just one question under opinion essay. Now, I want to show you other question types that we have, okay? We also have the advantages and disadvantages question, and that's what we are looking at now. Give me a minute. Okay, no, I think this is the question about, another type of opinion essay where you have, do the advantages, outweigh the disadvantages? This is also similar to the other you have, to what extent do you agree or disagree? When you see, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? What they are saying is, are the good sides more than the bad sides? You cannot talk about good sides alone or bad sides alone. You need to say, okay, I have 2 good sides and 1 bad side, or I have 1 good side and 2 bad sides. In short, that outweigh needs to function. Something has to be more than the other. That's what outweigh means, that something is more. So if you're going to say the advantages are more than the disadvantages, it means that you have 2 advantages points and 1 advantage point, as you can see here. Okay, but if it's the other way around, you twist it as well. Now, this is best explained when you take your time to go through this ebook and you study it step by step. Because as you can see, this is just opinion essay. We have not even touched, the other types of essay, discussion essay, and the rest of them. So you see, I took my time to talk about the sentence by sentence guide for everything, just to make it easy for people. And if this can help somebody get 8.5, what else do you need? Okay, now look at, that's a third example, but we don't even need that. I want to show you, just pick another random question type and talk about it. Okay, so this is a discussion essay, the one where they say discuss both these views and give your own opinion. Now, the problem people have with this question type is people assume that every essay should have 4 paragraphs. But from the 2 that I just told you right now, those 2 essay types cannot have 4 paragraphs. They have to be 5. Because if you are using 1 point for something and 2 points for another, each point needs to have their own paragraphs. And so your introduction is at the beginning, your conclusion is at the end. Altogether, you have 5. And that is the same thing that happens to the discussion essay. Now, let's read this question type to try to understand it. Some people say that the only reason for learning a foreign language is in order to travel or to travel to or work in a foreign country. The only reason why you learn, for example, French is because you are going to France. That's what some people say. You see that I'm contextualizing it so that it can make sense to my brain. That's how you answer questions. Now, let's continue. Others say that these are not the only reasons why someone should learn a foreign language. Discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So if some people say that the only reason is because you want to go and work in France or you want to travel to France, that's what some people are saying. And they have their, they have evidence or they have proof for that position. But others say it's not just for going to work and it's not just for going to travel, not just for migration. Those are the 2 views of 2 people, group A and group B, or view A and view B. But the question never stops there. The question would always say, give your own opinion. Now, because of the assumption that people have that every essay should have 4 paragraphs, so people take care of the introduction in the first paragraph. They take care of, view A's, angle in the second paragraph. They take care of view B's angle in the third paragraph. They now add their opinion to the fourth paragraph. If you ever end any essay without a conclusion, you will be penalized for it. Did you hear me? If you heard me, please type conclusion. If you heard that point I made, a few seconds ago, please type conclusion into the group. You should never end any essay without your conclusion, because every essay type should have an introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. So whether you are doing the opinion essay or discussion essay or problems and solutions essay or direct question essay, or what's the last one, advantages and disadvantages, you need to have an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Okay, these are things that they expect to see. Now, having said that, if you're following, you see that I've said, the first thing I've said is you need to know the kind of question that you are giving. So when you see a question, I'm going to go to a Cambridge book now. So let's open this task to look at this. Can anybody see this question? If you can see this question, just pick out any word that you can see, in the box, any question any word in the box that you can see, and put it in the chat just for me to be sure that you can hear me. Okay? To be sure that you can hear me and you can see me. Okay. So the question reads, in the future, all cars, buses, and trucks will be driverless. Thank you. I see 40 minutes for this part. Thank you, Melody. The only people traveling inside these vehicles will be passengers. Do you think the advantages of driverless vehicles outweigh the advantages? Can anybody tell me what type of essay question this is? Based on what we have said so far, what kind of essay is this? Based on what we have said so far, you remember that we've talked about the opinion essay I talked about the 8 types of questions that you have, the advantages and disadvantages, essay, the discussion essay. That was what I was talking about, before we moved. Then we have the problems and solutions. We have the double or direct question. So when you see this question now, you have, thank you, opinion essay. Thank you, Tina. This is an opinion essay. It is one of the questions, or one of the formats of questions that come as, the opinion essay, one of the formats in which the opinion essay comes. That's the first thing you do when you see a task 2. Once you have done that, you now go to the question itself. Now look at it again. In the future, it means not right now, in some years to come. You see that we are trying to understand the question. We are trying to process it. All cars, buses, and trucks will be driverless. It means that they won't have drivers. Nobody will be driving them. They'll be driving themselves. I think we have all of those already. There's a lot of Tesla, this and everything. So, we have all of that. Now, the only people but of course, I don't think we have all of those things for trucks, do we? So, this question, this book is from last year. So, let's just treat it as what it is. The only people traveling inside these vehicles will be passengers. It means there will be no drivers. So you'll be in a vehicle and there'll be nobody driving that vehicle. Just you moving to where you are going to. That will be in the car or the bus or the truck, no driver. So you now ask yourself, are the advantages of driverless vehicles more than, in short, are there more good sides to you being in a vehicle without a driver? Or are there more bad sides? Please, those of you here right now, answer this question for me. What do you think? As it is, as the question is moving in your head, as you can hear my voice, what do you think? Are there more good sides to going in a car without a driver, or a bus without a driver, or a truck without a driver? Do you think that there are more good sides than bad sides? If you think there are more good sides than bad sides, just put you can put 2 for more, 1 for 2 for good. So you can have 2 good, 1 bad, or 1 bad, 2 good. Just use any of those 2 combinations. If the advantages are more than the disadvantages, it means 2 good, 1 bad. If the disadvantages are more than the advantages, 2 bad, 1 good. So what do you think? Before you can come up with that, theory, you must have been thinking about it in your head. What exactly would lead to, what will make it good, what will make it bad? If it is good, it means that, there won't be a problem. There won't be, problem of maybe accidents, because the cars might have been conditioned to, do everything right. For example, okay, I see somebody's response, 2 bad, 1 good, thank you. So that means this 2 bad, 1 good means that the disadvantages are more than the advantages. The demerits are more than the benefits. Okay, so you see that you are processing it. Of course, you can't come to this conclusion except you have brainstormed a little on the points. You have allowed the points to begin to generate in your head. So I want to see what other people think. What do you think? I've said that, of course, the cars will be conditioned, so you won't have problems with, there won't be any problems with maybe drivers or locations or accidents. Those things will be limited because the cars will automatically know what to do. That's one angle. The other angle that, I'm going to the disadvantages side now is there's going to be a problem of unemployment, because if you see that drivers do no longer work, then you are taking out you're taking out the source of income of a particular people. We know that around the world, drivers are they're in demand everywhere, whether they are chauffeurs or they work for companies, or they deliver goods from country to country. Well, not country to country though, but the point is drivers are useful everywhere. So there's going to be a problem of unemployment. Then what's another benefit of driverless cars? What's another benefit? I don't know. I'm trying to think. So please help me here. What do you think? In short, what we are trying to say is, when you process this thing calmly and well, when you have more good, you know that you are going to say that the advantages outweigh they are more than the disadvantages. But when you have more bad, then it means that the disadvantages are more. All you now have to do is, as I have shown you, using the ebook, yes, technology improving, less stress. Okay, so it means that there'll be reduction in stress for. Does it mean the passengers? Would it be the passengers or for who? Okay, thank you, Milady. I appreciate this. Okay, now the point is, once you have been able to process the question and begin to think about your point, all you need to now do is write those points down and begin to think about what you use to develop them. That's where the format that I gave for breaking down, and you'll see that in the free ebooks that I have, there's this format where I say for every body paragraph, you need to state your point first in the first sentence, you need to explain your point in the second sentence, and you need to give an example in the third sentence. I don't want to dwell too much. Thank you. Okay, but they won't be driving anymore. Drivers won't be driving anymore because the cars won't have drivers. Okay, so you could possibly say that yes, for people who used to work as drivers will no longer have to deal with the stress of driving. Okay, so that's the point, but you just need to know how to develop that point. So in short, the point is, for every point that you have, you need to be able to state the point, you need to be able to develop it, and then give an example. I'm moving away from task 2 now because this ebook is available in this group. And for anyone who has paid for my online training at any point, the ebook is available for you to study on your own independently. Go through it one by one. You see how it's all detailed out. But I didn't stop there. In as much as you can learn the structure and everything, for people who have problems with their grammar, honestly, you can't run away from, a low band score. What do I mean by that? If you have problems with verbs and tenses, where your tense, I saw something on Twitter earlier today. Somebody said there was a post about ASU, and then somebody responded that there is possibilities of, did you hear that? There is possibilities of something. There were two, grammatical errors in that sentence. And so somebody responded jokingly saying, be careful, the person corrected him, told him the right thing to say. I said, be careful on these streets. There are kind of mad people here, and they would just, more or less mock you for making that mistake. And another person said, see, I didn't even bother reading what he said because he had already, misplaced singular and plural. You can't say there is possibilities. You should say there are possibilities. Okay? So whether you have problems with concord or tenses and verbs, and if you do it in the IELTS test, it would affect you. And I want you to know today that many people don't get the results that they want for writing because of small problems like this. You use tenses wrongly. And okay, the network has turned me off. I think I'm back. So in this English ebook, I took the time to talk about topics. These are the topics that are common in English that people need to take note of. But of course, this English ebook goes beyond English and beyond writing rather, because you use idioms for speaking, synonyms apply to even listening and reading, and sentences. When you write your sentences, you can't use just one format. Okay, so you see that I talked about phrasal verbs. You use phrasal verbs in speaking, cohesive devices, conjunctions, adjectives, punctuations, plural nouns, collocation, pronunciation. Pronunciation is relevant to speaking. Then wrong spellings. I highlighted many things that people spell wrongly. Modal verbs, adverbs, passive voice. Passive voice is very important for writing task 1. When you are describing, how plastic bottles are recycled, you can't, there's a way you write, and we're going to switch to academic task 1 now. I've spent some time talking about everything in general, and then essay task 2. Now I'm switching to task 1, and I'm just going to talk, give you the approach to both of them, because we cannot, you need to do an actual question. We need to do actual questions in upcoming sessions so that you understand it. But this is me showing you available resources that can help you to go and get started before, if you need to act right away. Okay, in short, we're going to look at a question. This is academic now. Let us look at this task 1. for example. Now, this diagram shows how plastic bottles are recycled. Now, can somebody tell me what they are seeing in number 1? Another person, what can you see in number 2? Somebody else, what are you seeing in 3? I don't mind. I don't really, this doesn't matter if you are taking academic or general. Just use your eyes. And that's what I want you to know. If you're taking the academic model, Chimamaka, you're a nurse. So you're taking this, this is the one you're taking. The mistake many people make in task 1 is they want to add their opinion. You should never include your opinion in the task 1 question. Look at what is in the box. The box will always add this second part. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. The question is always comes with this. Summarize, select, report, compare. Those are the 4 predominant things that the examiner expects you to do in the writing task 1, and you must never write less than 150 words for task 1. For task 2, it should never be less than 250 words. So you spend 20 minutes on task 1, spend 40 minutes on task 2, that's 1 hour. Now, how do you look at this kind of question in 20 minutes and write in 20 minutes? So can anybody tell me what they are seeing in number 1, number 2, number 3? Just look at it. Don't overthink. Don't overthink. You can see a man disposing a plastic bottle into a recycling bin. Okay. Number 2, you see that the recycling truck has, come to move the items that need to be recycled, or the bottles that need to be recycled. They've come to pack them. Now, number 3, you see that somebody sorts them. The bottles, there's a sorting process of the bottles that can be used and the bottles that can no longer be used. And when you get to number 4, you see that the good bottles are then compressed into something that has a, square-like. After that, sorry, my network is off. Am I here? Okay, after that, the plastic bottles are then crushed through, what do you call these things? There's a name for this. Something weird. I don't know. Can anybody help me? But in short, when you're not too sure of the name, let's assume you're in exam mode and you're not sure, just explain it as it comes to you. They are crushed through a system or something, or they are, just put it into a sentence the best way you have it, and then they are, deposited into what can we call this? What do you call this? Like a it's not a reservoir, like a tank, okay, where they are then washed. After the process of washing, you see that I've now gotten to number 6. After the process of washing, the bottles, you see, producing plastic pellets. Yes, after the process of washing, they are more or less ground. They more or less grind them and crush them into pellets. These pellets are then heated to form raw materials that are reproduced into raw materials. This is the raw material. You can see it here that it's placed on a wooden slab or a slab, or packed on a slab, and then used to produce end products like plastic bottles, plastic containers, t-shirts, bags, and I think these are like pencils. Okay, so you see that there are 9 steps involved in this. If you are not careful in this type of question, you might not know, you might not write more than, you might not write too many, you might not be able to write too many words. It's unfortunate that it happens like that sometimes. And why does that happen? Because really, all you are doing is you are writing what you are seeing. But one thing that can help you is there are vocabulary that should be used for every task. Okay, so for the this is the diagram. When you're writing a diagram, a question and a diagram, you should know the expressions that are used, and some of them include at the initial stage, after so thing happens, then let me say towards the at the fifth stage or at the final stage. In short, keep referring to the stages, point them out. Another thing I want to say is every question type has its structure. In the case of the diagram, for example, you only need 3 paragraphs. Typically, for writing task 1, they expect you to do 3 things. Write an introduction, write an overview, and write your body paragraphs where you give more details. I told you for task 2 that you should have an introduction where you paraphrase the question and summarize your points. Then you go to the body paragraphs where you state the points again, in detail. You state them, you develop them, you exemplify them, you illustrate them with examples. Then you go to the conclusion and wrap up what you have said. And I've told you that you can, watch videos on YouTube, or if you need to see actual examples like right now, you can add on to my YouTube channel after this session or later on, or you can even just go through the ebooks that are already in the group before we now come here and do them one by one. We're going to have sessions where we will write because we will need the full time to write. Okay, so but for people who have their test very soon, you can actually use these things to help yourself. But the point is, there is a structure for everything. For the diagram now, even though for bar chart you have 4 paragraphs. Paragraph 1 is introduction, paragraph 2 is your overview, paragraph 3 and 4 are body paragraphs. For the diagram is different. Paragraph 1 will combine you combine your introduction and overview, where this question that has been written up here, you will rephrase it. So the question says, the diagram below shows the process for recycling plastic bottles. When you want to write yours, you can say the diagram illustrates how plastic bottles are recycled into useful products or into end products or something. Just rewrite it in a different way that doesn't necessarily limit you to what was exactly written in the question. You see that I use how plastic bottles are recycled. That is the passive voice I was talking about in the English, the book that I said covers 20 English lessons. That's passive voice because I changed the form. Instead of using recycling as a verb, I changed as a, in this case now is present progressive. Instead of using present progressive, I changed it to past participle because I used are recycled. You see that this thing requires a bit of English technicalities, blah, blah, but it doesn't have to be that difficult. Once you see so many examples like that, you'll be able to work with it. If you go on my YouTube channel, you'll find another diagram where, I answer the question. And for those who are taking my paid training, you see that I answer questions like this, even on Seller, where training is. What is my point? You need to know how each task works. Let me go back to that beginning. If you are getting value, if you are learning, please just put a comment in the group, put a message in the group, so that I'm sure that I am not just rambling on and talking to myself. I'm trying to cover as much as possible, but of course, it is a lot, so we can't even consume, so much tonight. But I want to show you this question, which is on line graph. Okay, so for that diagram, I said you would add your introduction and overview in the first paragraph, and the other 2 paragraphs will be your body paragraph. Okay, so you can go through my task 1 ebook. It's also in this group. You go through my thank you, I don't care, thank you, I see you. You can go through my task 1 ebook in this group to see how each, the structure for each type, and how I explained how you paraphrase, how I explained how you take care of each part. Okay, so this is me showing you the resources that already exist for you to use before, if you still have the time or the opportunity, we now come and practice some questions together. Now look at this question. If you notice, you see that you can see 2 years in this question, 1920 and 1921. This is Cambridge IELTS Test book 16. So this book was released last year, 2021. So you see that they are dealing with information that came from the past. Automatically, when you see a question that has dates from the past, you know that you must write with past tense. If you mistakenly write with present tense, It looks like my connection is gone. Am I back? Yes, I am. So once you see that the question okay, am I back? Gone again, yes, but I think I'm back now. I think I'm back now. I can see the green. So I'm trying to emphasize, and you also see this in that essay in the, the task one ebook for academic. There's one book. Okay, thank you. I'm good. There is another book for academic task, for general training task one. That's the last part I'm going to cover within the final minutes of this session. But this is me saying that you have resources that you can begin to use before we have, one-on-one practical sessions or this thing is going back and forth. This is a line graph and it says, or these are two line graphs. The question says, the charts below show the changes in ownership of electrical appliances and amount of time spent doing housework in households in one country between 1920 and 2019. What is this question saying? The rate at which people owned electric appliances changed between 1920 and 2019. Also, the amount of time that they used to do housework in one specific country also changed between this period. Now, between 1920 and 2019 is how many years? Excuse me. I think I'm a little exhausted this evening. Okay, so you can see the years. This is it's like it's almost 100 years or thereabouts if I'm getting it right. Okay, because then after this would have had 2020. So the point is, you can see this. How many lines do we have? We have 3 lines. You see this faint one that goes up to the top. You see this broken one that goes like this and then goes straight here. And so you see this black one that fluctuates, goes up, then curves, then comes down, then goes up a little again. They represent the 3 electrical appliances that they were talking about. The black line is washing machine. The faint one is refrigerator. The third, the broken one is the vacuum cleaner. Now, in between these years, this 100 years, the rate at which people owned them changed. So if for this faint line, this refrigerator in short, as the years went by, more people bought or possessed refrigerators and it kept on increasing. So this is like a drastic shoot up between 1920 and 1940. That those 20 years experienced a major rise, right? Because you see it was steady, and this is like somewhere in between here. Now I want to say quickly, when you are not sure of the particular percentage, don't just assume that it is 55 is in the middle. There are words that we use around, roughly, about, approximately, just around, all of these expressions. If for any task one that you need to do, you will find the vocabulary for each one in my task one ebook. Vocabulary for line graph is there, for bar chart is there, for table is there, for pie chart is there, for map, all the particular expressions that they expect examiners want to hear, they want to read, they are there, just to make your life easier. I've been training people since 2017, so I've had access to resources, to trainings, to samples that helped me to draw out these things. All you need to do is use them. So you see the faint line, you see how it goes up and then it levels, it levels out here. Now you see this broken one, vacuum cleaner. Nobody owned, okay, you see that from here, nobody owned it, but it kept on rising. But at this point, at the beginning, there was, the ownership was already at 30%. And this skyrocketed continually till it reached 100% in year 2000. And then, it stayed the same till the end of the period. But for the black one, washing machine, you see that at the beginning of the period, of the given period, 40% of the population in that country owned washing machines. Okay? 20 years later, it increased from 40% to 60%. And then, it experienced. Now, of course, you cannot begin to talk about each year. But what you are seeing generally is, the ownership for refrigerator grew, and it was sustained throughout the period. That of, what is this other one, vacuum cleaner, it maintained a steady rise as well. But the one that fluctuated was vacuum cleaner, or was washing machine. And that brings me to the next point I want to write. You must never ever forget your overview when you are writing. What is an overview? An overview is a summary. Turned me off. Am I back? I think I am. Your overview is a summary of what you can see. Before you begin to talk about percentages, at least tell us what you can see. And that was what we did first. Okay? We saw that, these two, rose consistently or rose significantly and steadily. They stayed like that. But the one in black, washing machine, fluctuated. But that is not even all that you are writing. There is still a second line graph. And this one shows a downward slope in the time people used to do their house chores. At the beginning, what do you mean by modules, please? Can you explain? Because the only thing modules refers to is academic or general training. Then components refers to writing, speaking, listening. So do you mean the different forms of reports? If you mean the different forms of reports, there you have all the structures in the writing task 1 ebook. Component. Okay, so by components now, sorry. No, I don't have you don't have listening and reading ebooks. You only have ebooks for writing. And speaking, you have, for those of you taking my training, you have my speaking sample. Okay, and then you have your 1 hour one-on-one session with me. So for listening and reading and even everything else, you have all your videos in Seller. Seller is where all the videos are. But the ebooks are primarily for writing, because there's writing that is plenty in quotes. Okay, so we have 7 minutes to the end of this session, but I've just tried to use this question to explain to you. So, but before we actually choose that, okay, we're going to pick a day for one question type or pick another day for another question type, I said, let me show you the possibilities that you have and the resources you can begin to use, from now. They are in this group. If you go to the media area, you'll find the 4 ebooks. My 4 ebooks are inside this group. All you need to do is continue to study them, and practice. Now I'm going to switch over to general training, which is the simplest letter writing. Look at this question, for example. Your friend has been offered a place on a course at the university where you studied. So I studied at Obafemi Awolowo University. And one of my friends, you saw only 2 ebooks. Can I confirm that? Where is media? I see files. There are 4 ebooks here. There's the Unravel IELTS Writing GTB 15. That's for general training. There's Unravel IELTS Writing ACB 11. That's for, academic. There's English for IELTS ebook. And there's IELTS essay workbook. Okay? And so there's the workbook that we used to start this training when we started on September 5th. And we also have the content guide that shows you what we will do for IELTS, for Seller, and for Fiverr. So can somebody please confirm that there are 6 PDFs under files? If you can let me know the number of PDFs you can see, I would see if I need to reshare something. But there are 6 PDFs there. Okay, Milade can see 6 PDFs, yes. All you need to do is continue to use them. Use them. So let me talk about this letter. Somebody today told me in my Instagram DM that my writing, the does not fully explain. Okay, thank you. Good. Does not fully explain letter writing. Now, you know what I asked him? I said, have you watched the video in Seller where I taught the letter? That's number 1. Number 2, Did you notice that there were 4 letters? I wrote 4 letters in that ebook. That free ebook has 4 letters. And I covered the 3 question types, the 3 essay types, letter types that we have: formal, informal, semi-formal. The thing about these ebooks is you have a recipe to follow after I have explained theory. So all you need to do is study the example and use it. And one example illustration I always use is when you go on YouTube to watch how to make a particular meal, you see the ingredients that the YouTuber used, and you go and get the same ingredients, and you're in files. Thank you. You go and get the same ingredients, and you follow the same process that the YouTuber did. You have almost the same thing the person did. So you won't need to go and call that YouTuber and maybe get their phone number and call them. Say, please come to my house and taste my soup. Come let me check if I got it correctly. If we don't do that, right? All you need to do is follow. So look at this question now. My friend has, just gained admission to study, let's say, fine arts in OAU. Now, he or she would like my advice about finding a place to live. Now, me, Adenike, I lived off campus for from 200 level to 400 level. Now, but this my friend is asking me about where they can get accommodation. Do you see what I did? I contextualized the question. I made the question personal. If you don't make your letter question personal, it will be abstract to you and your brain will not boot. Irrespective of the question that you see, whether the letter is going to be a formal letter or an informal letter or a semi-formal letter, assuming that you just assume that it is real life. Tell yourself, I am the one inside this letter. Let me imagine that it is me, and I will answer the question. Now, they will always give you 3 things that they want you to do. Once you see the 3 things, just tell your brain, I only need 3 paragraphs to answer this question. 3 bullet points, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, equal 3 paragraphs. What they want you to do in the first question is what you will do in your first paragraph. What they want you to do in the second question is what you will do in the second paragraph. What they want you to do in the third question is what you will do in your third paragraph. It applies to formal letter, to informal letter, to semi-formal letter. If you need to see examples urgently, you can go through my task 1 ebook for general training. And if you want the one where I use my voice to explain, you will find samples of them in my general training folder, general training playlist on YouTube. For me, it matters that people can access me anywhere without even paying me to learn from me. The more people I can help, the better, whether you pay or not. Okay? So for this question now, the first thing that the examiner wants me to do because I'm sending an email to my friend, the first thing that they want me to do is describe where you lived when you were a student at the university. I can conveniently describe my lodge in Modakeke around line 1, somewhere close to Omole Estate. Is there any OAU student here? That's where I lived. It was a very local environment because we had people that made fufu beside us. But this is IELTS, this is letter writing, right? I would describe it. Thank you. I would describe it somehow for my friend to get it. But at least it's just description of where I lived. We had a block of self-contained rooms, and we had students from OAU and from Oduduwa University. That's the first bullet point. So you just talk about it, in that first paragraph. This is 10:29. I'm wrapping up. Once I finish with this aspect, we're going to close. But I appreciate you for staying till the end. Now, in the second part, recommend the best way for him or her to look for accommodation. Okay, if I was writing this letter for real, I would tell my friend to talk to other colleagues or to other people who, have also just gained admission to find out what options are there for them. Because we know that 100 level students in my time used to get access to accommodation, right? So as a 100 level student, you used to get them. But then if not, if you were in other levels or, you had to find a place on your own. So I would suggest that this person speaks to other new, what do you call them now? New intakes, I can't remember the word you use for people, freshers, yeah. If he or she has made friends with other freshers, find out what people are doing to see if there's plan to get accommodation on campus. Okay, so for me, that can be the best way. And the best way can actually be to probably just come into Ife and then, see if you can talk to agents. You just decide what you want to talk about and you talk about it. And then number 3 is to warn him or her of mistakes that students make when choosing accommodation. Okay, so number 1 can be that you go to you rent a place where other students don't live. It is advisable that you rent a place where students live, so that you are in the center of people that are like you. So don't make the mistake of renting apartments that are occupied by probably working class or people of other professions and in other stages of their lives. That's number 1. Remember, the question says mistakes, so you cannot just tell one and go. Okay, now the second one can be that you rent a place that is too expensive or that is too far from school, or that does not provide you easy access to transportation. You just decide what you want to write. By the end of the day, it must not be less than 150 words, but you two don't write too much. When you begin to go over 200, it's too much. If you are writing task 2 and they say don't write less than 250 words, by the time you are going over 300, it's too much. Examiners will use the same time that you used to write to mark. So what they are able to do within that time is what they will do, and that's how they assess you. Please, if you are writing the paper-based test, your handwriting needs to be legible. There's penalty for illegible handwriting. I can't open the answer sheets now to show you. I don't know if I should. I think I showed it in one of our previous sessions. If you memorize answer and write it in your question paper, they will catch you. They will penalize you. That's what I mean by catch you. So even if your writing was good enough for 7, because of all those penalties, can drop to 6.5 or drop to 6. Okay, so there are samples. If you want to see samples of me answering, where I answer these questions, please just open those ebooks. You see that there are 4 ebooks. My 4 ebooks are here for you. People who pay, take my paid training, pay for them. But this season, I believe I'm just doing stuff for free until I move off to something else. Go through those ebooks and learn with them. Your life would be easy. Remember the doctor's result. Where's that result that I showed at the beginning? I want to show you that result again, so that you will know that it is possible. I want to switch to that result so that you will know that it is possible. The doctor said that my ebooks are mathematical. Now I'm going to change my screen now so that those who were not here at the beginning can see what I said. You can see that doctor's result. You can see the results. I'm going to zoom it. You can see he took this test on July 23rd. This is his result. Can you see 8.5 in writing? He took general training. So he wrote a letter for task 1 and he wrote an essay for task 2. Okay, if you are done at it, it is easy to have 8.5 in general training and it is easy to have 8 in academic. Academic is a bit technical, more technical than general training because you are analyzing reports and you must never add your opinion. Why am I sharing this with you? The IELTS test is simple. It is easy. The IELTS writing in particular, you can't see any ebook. Please go to the search through just click on, how did I click on mine? Search on the, click on the name of this group. Then you will see members, media, files, link. Click on files. Go to the files area of this group. Go to the files area of this group. Things that people are paying for. If you are in this group, you are getting them for free. My essay ebook is 2,000 naira. My English ebook is 3,000 naira. That's 5,000 naira that I have saved you because you are in this group right now. And then the free ones are free. So anybody who comes tomorrow and wants to get my paid training, they'll pay my normal 12K. They'll get the essay ebook paid and they'll get the English ebook free because my paid training allows them to get the English ebook free. But whoever wants the English ebook on its own gets it for the price that it is. In short, the point is, the goal is for you to have access to what you need. So that just like Chimamaka that needs 7, you will get your 7. Whoever else needs whatever score, you will get the score. Like that lady, where's that lady? This is this is the doctor's comment about your materials helped a whole lot, especially with the writing part. Like I said, it was almost mathematical. When the day he called me, he and his wife called me to celebrate the results, he said the book is like a formula book. And that's what I wanted it to be. I wanted people to stop asking for evaluation. Somebody still asked me for it last week. I told them no. If you have the essay ebooks, if you have the essay ebooks, the writing ebooks, you have what you need. Okay, look at this lady that got exactly what she needed. 8 in listening, 7.5 in reading, 6.5 in writing, 7.5 in speaking. You know, what more can you? The point is, get the scores that you need using the resources that are available to you. In our next IELTS session, it's either we focus on writing or we focus on listening or reading or speaking. I don't know what you're going to decide, but we're going to have another session next week. I think on Wednesday, we are going to focus on Seller. On Thursday will be writing on Fiverr. Okay. But the point is, I wanted us to, today decide that, okay, I have what it is to, have an excellent score in my writing test. You just start using the resources that are available right now. Okay, so that is it for today. I don't know if you have any questions. Does anybody have any questions for me? I want to stop sharing my screen and then wrap up. This is 10:36. So it's already past our learning time. We all should be back to our base, resting, sleeping, and doing all that. So thank you all so much, everyone, for showing up. I hope that you learned. I hope that you got value for your time, if not for your money, since this is free, but at least value for your time. And you can start out. You can start out before we come back to any new session. You know that you can be using those ebooks. The 4 ebooks are inside this group. I'm saying it again. The 4 ebooks are within this group. Go and start using them. My YouTube channel is still there. Even if you don't want my paid training, no problem. If you want the paid training, fine. If you don't want it, it's good. Just go on YouTube, go and watch. Go and watch. Go and learn. My goal and my aim for everybody is, so long as you have come in contact with me, Adenike, you deserve to pass your IELTS test once. Move to the country you are going to. Move to the job that you want. Just move on. Don't take this test twice. By God's grace, it will happen for you. Thank you all so much. Let me not ramble on. I wish you a wonderful night. My regards to your family and stay well. Bye-bye.